he's going to do that, he's going to stand up here. So if you want to break your attention, grab this.
No, you stand up here because I don't want to ignore the people in the back, and I don't really want to use a microphone. I really have no idea how you swallow 4 wet pigs. I'm not going to pickle your feet. It might scramble your brains. This is a letter to Jack Kerouac, and it's simply called Dear Jack. I just realized this would be his 66th birthday this month, if you were around. And what this is a compendium of many things. It's things about his life. It's things from his writings. It's the controversy that swirls about him, or swirled about him when he was alive, and swirling about him in his death. And it's a reflection of what's going on in Lowell. It's pro and con, and it's just it's a letter to Jack. It's entitled Dear Jack. It's not an ordinary letter because you don't write a Kerouac letter in an ordinary way. Dear Jack, time to cut back. The resurrection is at hand. Dear Jack Kerouac, crazy dumb saint of the mind. Dear Kerouacy Jackie. Dear T. Jean, pauvre T. Jean, little John boy of brother's saintly death. Dear Jean-Louis Kerouac, misspelled in baptismal record of Catholic Lowell. Dear hero Jack, drunken bum hobo Jack, Buddha from the holy goof of Benzedrine AT. Dear Jack, dear Mr. Paradise of the Road Jack, dear angel of desolation, dear Bodhisattva of compassion and conflict, dear man Jack of subterranean jazz excitements, woo-wee ricochets from Frisco through Mexico City to the Big Apple. Dearest Jack of Catholic connection and seeker after truth, dig this upcoming summer's tale of Bridge Street commemorative libations and officialdom's grudging tribute. Dearest bum of the Dharma, flaky brakeman of the iron roads, dedicated writer. Dear cotton picker, seaman, scullion of the oceanic roads, starry night could well have been your song. Starlight, genius so bright. Dear Jack, where are you now? From what mountain shall we tell it, Jack? Lady at Kmart said that you were just a drunken bum, influenced by strange, decadent creeps. I mentioned having seen your shroudy specter in the misty darkness of an October Merrimack Street, conferring with Whitman and Woolf and Proust and Soroyan and Spengler and Hemingway and London and Poe and Joyce and others, and she didn't hear me, occupied with the price of mop and glove. Then suddenly she turned, with a bit of anger flashing from her eyes, to declare that you were just a druggie who had never learned the proper way to write. I took it upon myself to inquire of this lady how many books she had written, how many stones she could legitimately cast, how she came to the conclusion that literature must remain fossilized to the patterns of the past, how she could condemn and yet never attempt to understand. She didn't catch a word. Hairspray was on sale. Whose vanity? Whose blindness? Whose ignorance? Who is in this boy, Jack? Memory Babe, when are you going to teach university course on anguish, on the promise of America gone sour, on sensitivity, on pain, on fear of death, on romantic fantasy, on bitter loneliness, on idealism, on common lives made into national legends? And what type of riffs shall we blow across the Saxy Merrimack when the touristas ask the hard questions? Tell us how to package the self-destruction with the genius. What answers for brooding, bisexual, beaten visions and crude drunken buffooneries? What responses when they probe the personal chaos and confusion? What kinds of things to parry with when they thrust the quintessential beatnik at us, shades of Maynard G. Krebs. Oh, restless seeker after that pearl, why couldn't you ever find your own Walden Pond? Or wasn't it a spiritual quest? I mean, the real road that you were on, and wasn't it also a search for personal salvation? Questions there will be of Mummy Dearest and of Daddy Dearest, of mysticism, of visions and hallucinations, of sexual excitements. I can hear the guy from Iowa now. Wasn't this Kerouac fella sort of queer? Questions about golden eternities and unspeakable visions, of wild form, of the infamous spontaneous prose, of the connection between being high and the creation of your books. Strong, rushing, exciting outpourings from a mind attacked by words. Hey, Jack, confidentially, are we really supposed to see you as the modern equivalent of Billy Shakespeare? Or was it Jimmy Joyce? And are we really supposed to believe that all life is suffering, that illusion surrounds us at every point, that writing without revising is the best way, that you will be considered one of the great writers of this century? Confidentially, Jack, was it only your identity as a writer that held you together? Dear Jack, sailor of those open seas, Lowellians are reading your books. Lowellians are not reading your books. Dear hipster of American tragedy, Lowellians love you. Lowellians do not love you. Dear bard of Roxacian personal freedom, Lowellians own you. Lowellians refuse to own you. Hot property, hot potato. Dear shy, compassionate poet, when did the joy become the pain? When did the traveling wear thin? When did the door of the abyss slam behind you? When, while still alive, did death overtake you? Dear Jack, how many here have ever read the Diamond Sutra? How many here know the life of the Buddha? How many here meditate and renounce the flesh? Dear, dear Jack of the paranoia, tell us again of the horror, all capital letters, the horror of Big Sur. Tell us till we can feel it, till the experience is alive to our inner senses. Dear, dear Jack of neon city nighttimes and cheap hotels, which of us will be heard a century from today? Which of us will have an equal impact? Which of us will influence so many lives? Which of us will be condemned? Which of us will be honored? Dearest, dear Jack Kerouac, goodbye and hello. And don't worry, dear Jack, one day you will be the drinking buddy of Frank Sinatra, and you will sing with him just old Blue Eyes ×2. Stay cool. Adios, dear Jack.